My father's dead friend walked me home on Dia de los Muertos. I want to share this experience that happened to me around 15 years ago when I started studying in a town away from my parents' home. There was one man, let's call him Tony, who was a good friend of my father. He helped him at work sometimes, so I hung out with them usually. When I was 17, I moved to a bigger city to start university, so I traveled every 2 months to visit my parents for long weekends or vacations. After my second year away, this friend Tony died from alcohol abuse. My father told me on a phone call how that happened, or at least how he heard it happened. Around 2 months later, on Dia de Muertos, Day of the Dead, here in Mexico, I went to visit my parents, also to go and visit the tombs of the family as the tradition goes. And at this point, I literally forgot about Tony's death. The apparition comes around because I didn't catch the bus that arrives during the day to my parents' hometown, so I was forced to take one that arrives there around 2 a.m. It is quite a small town, so since I didn't find any taxi near the bus station, I decided to walk home. Around 5 blocks away from the house, I had to pass on a bridge where people say that a decapitated donkey spirit scares people during the night. I was a bit scared, to be honest, but then suddenly, this friend Tony reached me on his bike. I didn't mention that he always moved on a bike, and asked me if I had just arrived from university. Maybe because I was originally thinking about the decapitated donkey, I completely forgot about the fact that Tony was supposed to be dead. So I started to talk to him also, and we walked, passing the bridge and a couple more blocks, for around 4 or 5 minutes talking about school, the food in the other city and stuff like that. Just 1 block away from my parents' house, he just told me, "Okay, I have to go check some things over here," pointing in another direction. "But keep safe, say hello to your father for me." We said goodbye, and then I got home. Since it was early morning, I walked directly into my room and waited until the next day to go and see my parents. It wasn't until the next morning, when I was just about to tell my father about Tony, that I remembered that he was already dead. At that moment, I didn't tell my parents. But a bit later into the day, my father told me that he saw me arriving. He asked me if I was drunk or something because he saw me talking to nobody. So then I told him. I think it was some kind of company on that bridge that I was afraid of because of the stories, and also because of that scare from the donkey story. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that my company was someone I knew was already dead. It is kind of funny for me, and I actually never felt afraid of that moment. So thanks to that old friend that was there with me, even after death.